if it does go forward, hashtag Tommy, a.k.a. Tom Brady, becomes a free agent as a practical matter at 12:01 p.m. Eastern. That's when he can talk to other teams without it being tampering, work out a deal, exchange offers, tentative agreement, etc. So, Chris, summarize for us the turd you dropped into the Tom Brady punch bowl on Sunday regarding one of his potential destinations.
Well, listen, you know I've been kind of in the know on this subject for a few weeks. I've had a lot of talk with all sides connected to the Tom Brady saga. All right. Yeah, I got an inkling a few weeks ago that the 49ers were certainly on top of the Tom Brady wish list, right? And it makes sense. Of course, the 49ers are one of the best teams in football. We know that. Tom Brady's from San Francisco. So if he's looking to go somewhere else, that would have been the perfect spot for him. I understand that, But at this time, hold on a second. Is it breaking up? Should I slow down here? Should I start this over?
You're fine. I hear you fine. Keep going.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. I saw my face on FaceTime here, and it was starting to get a little choppy there. But I think that, yes, I found out this weekend that that was not going to happen. Now, I know you wrote on the headline, 49ers say no to Tom Brady. Hey, listen, I'm not so sure they said no to Tom Brady, but I certainly would think, yes, that's what happened. More or not, I'm assuming that because I did have the knowledge that Brady was, hot on the 49ers. So there's a lot of things that go into this. To me, the big thing is, what is the market for Tom Brady right now, right? I do think the 49ers were in the mix here for a little bit, but there's a lot of things on the 49ers end I think that people have to realize goes into this conversation too. If you're going to sign the Tom Brady and you're the San Francisco 49ers, okay, within doing that, you're also going to have to find a trade partner for Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And, I just don't know how far those discussions went, but you're certainly not just going to go, oh, we're signing Tom Brady and we're going to let Jimmy Garoppolo go out the door for nothing, a guy who you paid a lot of money to and just brought you to the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of different moving parts there to why it didn't work. I don't really know why it didn't work, but I know nonetheless it's dead and it's not happening. And now the big question is, yes, where is the market for Tom Brady? I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are interested in Brady. I don't know what Brady's feel is for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then, of course, is there another team out there that we just don't know about, or at least I don't know about?
Now, let me back up a step, right? Because if the 49ers truly view Tom Brady as an upgrade to Jimmy Garoppolo, why do you have to have a specific plan in place for what you're going to do with Garoppolo other than to not have Garoppolo and Brady on the roster at the same time, both consuming huge cap charges? I mean, you want to get Garoppolo off before you get Brady on. You could agree to wait a while to finalize the Brady deal to do something with Garoppolo, but you have until April 1 to pull the plug on Garoppolo and avoid any guarantees for 2020. I just think that if you decide Brady's your guy, you deal with Garoppolo separately. I think the end result here is they looked at it, they studied it, they considered it, they thought about it, and they decided Garoppolo is their guy, not Tom Brady.
I think that's fair. I don't know the answers to that, but me just being in football my whole life and knowing, people I know throughout the league and things too, I think you're spot on there. I think the other thing to, take into account here is, okay, if you do think Brady's the guy or great, still you might only have 1 year with him, right? And there's some risk in that alone, let alone to let a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo just, go for free or maybe not the price you asked for. And we know he's kind of just starting or hitting the prime of his career where he's playing and getting used to the NFL and getting real reps. So I think that has to be taken into account too. You're only going to get Brady for 1 or 2 years, 2 years at the most here, I think. And to just sell Jimmy Garoppolo down the road and say, oh, hey, see you later. It doesn't matter. We got Tom Brady. He's better right now, and we want him. I just don't think it's as easy as that. And to what you said, to push it off, I mean, as we know, this information always gets out, right, which would then lower the value of maybe a trade Jimmy Garoppolo got. And then also it's hard to go for further along in your free agency and draft proceedings a little bit, because you don't know how things are going to shake out there too. So again, I know it's an interesting topic, but I think at the end of the day, the 49ers realized they were better off with Jimmy Garoppolo, and they're going forward with him.
So what is it down to then for Tom Brady? I saw Shefty last night on Twitter with a clip from SportsCenter saying that it doesn't look like he's going back to the Patriots, and we're getting to the point where teams that have been laying in wait can make a run for Tom Brady. Well, we've heard from time to time teams that may be interested, but as of right now, Chris, and as you said yesterday, it looks like it's just the Buccaneers and the Patriots. Who else is out there that we should be thinking about that maybe we aren't?
Yeah, right. I mean, and I have no feel or inside knowledge about how much Brady loves the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said, I do know that they are interested in him. Then, like to your question, Mike, let's go down. Hey, the Miami Dolphins. I know there's a lot of connections there. I just don't see that happening. I don't think Brady, at 43 is going to go, let's be part of a rebuild year and we'll go win it at 44 years old. I don't think that happens with the Oakland Raiders either. So to me, the only other team left out there right now, with Tennessee being out of the mix and going all in on Ryan Tannehill, is the Chargers. I have no knowledge of anything that's going on there with the Chargers, but there's a lot of people around the league that are murmuring that could be a real thing. So I am hearing that, but I don't know anybody in the know to definitively tell me that.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we've spitballed on every team possible. I've suggested, hey, maybe at some point Jerry Jones is going to become exasperated with Dak Prescott and decide he'll go after Tom Brady instead. The Cowboys, by the way, as expected, have applied the exclusive franchise tag to Dak Prescott. They could trade him, I assume, if they would wake up and say, we just don't want to sign this guy to a long-term deal on his terms, but that's not looking likely. That's not looking likely. I look around, though, and it's Buccaneers, Chargers, maybe the Raiders, maybe the Dolphins. But, I mean, if he wants to win now, Chris, and we're not going to have an offseason program, and I don't think we are, there's only one place where you can say he's got a likelihood of winning, and that's staying where he is, assuming where he is wants him.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's the least risky decision out of all of the above. I mean, yeah, he'll have some weapons if he went to Tampa Bay, certainly. But, man, he's going to have to learn a new Bruce Arians offense, and he's going to have to stand in the pocket for 6 and 7 seconds and get crushed to throw the ball down the field. Is he going to relocate his family to Tampa Bay? I don't know. The Chargers, in theory, makes sense. I mean, they're a team that I don't think is far off. Their defense, as we both know, is a top 5 defense in football, and they do have some weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And you've been pounding the table forever about they need, some billboard material in L.A., so I get that. The thing I find most interesting about what Shefty said yesterday, and again, Schefter I got the ultimate respect for him. He was doing that report on ESPN yesterday with a Michigan helmet behind him and a Tom Brady figurine behind him, okay? I mean, to me, that kind of is like, hey, I might know something that you guys don't know, okay? And then within that, the biggest thing I took from what he said yesterday is, why does anybody think a deal is going to happen with the New England Patriots? And I think that's the big thing right now. Do the Patriots want him? They're giving signals right now that they're certainly not like, oh, man, we got to sign Tom right now, or, we're ruined for 2020. They're not doing that. They certainly don't seem panicked, and we don't really have a feel for how they feel about having Tom Brady back or not. And I just don't know where that goes.
I've seen a few times this weekend that Shakespeare wrote King Lear while he was quarantined during the plague. It is almost Shakespearean when you think about Brady, Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft does not want this sticking to him if Brady leaves, but it could be that at the end of the day, Brady realizes, I'm better off staying with the Patriots, and Belichick saying, uh-oh, I I thought he was going to leave. What do I do now, right? And who's going to take the blame? And at what point do they start spinning it as Tom Brady's decided under the circumstances, under these broader world circumstances and the likelihood of no offseason program, that he should stay with the Patriots? How does that get spun by the Patriots if Brady starts banging the drum of we should stay together for one more year given everything that's going on?
Ooh, that's where I think that the Patriots will be in a tough spot if that was the case, to where I'm not so sure they wouldn't succumb to public pressure and just go forth with Tom Brady if that be the case. Is I think Mr. Kraft would certainly, back Brady in that to say, let's get it done. But I do think if that does happen, then New England also knows, okay, Brady is not hot on any other teams, and they're going to force him to take a contract that they want. That's the one thing I say that will happen. I mean, again, just my experience of following Bill Belichick all these years and being up there in New England, it just doesn't matter who you are. He'll give you hugs and tell you how great you are once you retire. But as long as you're in this business, there's no free flower bouquets or anything like that. There's no going to be like, oh, no pat on the back. I respect you. I love you. I'm going to show you all this respect. He's going to continue to treat it like a business, even with the GOAT. I don't think he's going to bend in that fashion.
And I think one of the realities of living in times like this, you strip away all of the crap. The ego goes out the window and you focus on what's important. And if it's important to him to try to get Super Bowl number 7 before he retires, he needs to realize, and Belichick needs to realize this as well, their best chance comes from staying together, comes from continuity. If the offseason program is going to be gone, if there's a chance training camp will be curtailed, right? If there's any chance that this is going to affect the strategic objectives of the Patriots, and it makes it better and smarter for them to have Tom Brady than to have Jared Stidham or someone else, that's
right.
what Belichick's going to decide to do, right? So
I would say so.
I think the events of the past few days make it more likely that he stays, notwithstanding anything that Shefty said with his Michigan helmet and his Tom Brady action figure on the shelf behind him.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.